The High Court has ruled that British expats who have lived abroad for more than 15 years will not be allowed to vote in the EU referendum on June the 23rd. The legal challenge was brought by Belgian resident Jacquelyn MacLenna and the 94-year-old Second World War veteran Harry Shindler, who lives in Italy. And Mr. Shindler joins us now on the line from his home in San Benedetto on the east coast of Italy. Mr. Shindler, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. You're obviously very disappointed by this decision. I've just been looking through some comments from our viewers when we brought this news about the High Court decision. And some people have been saying, well, you know, if an individual has been living abroad for quite a lengthy number of years, then they have no right to complain about this.
Yes, I can understand that. We are, of course, disappointed, but more than that, we're saddened, frankly, because to think that after several hundred years, there are still groups of people outside like ourselves fighting for the right to vote. It is a strange situation. And in this particular case, in this referendum, the rules of the referendum, and that's what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about the rules of the referendum which bar us from voting. You see, the rules of the referendum, we should explain, are not those of a general election. We are barred from voting in a general election, but the rules of the referendum are not the same. And though those who organise the referendum claim that they are, hence we can't vote, because we can't vote in a general election, in fact, that's not correct. The rules of the referendum are separate to the general election. They are different. And the difference is considerable. And the difference is that in general elections, the members of the House of Lords are not allowed to vote. That's law. However,
sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to ask, if the UK votes to leave the EU, what difference do you think it's going to make to you?
Yes, I'm glad you raised it. It's going to make us a very serious difference indeed, because I can recall before the events that we had, and I've been in Italy now for 32 years, we had in fact to go to the police station regularly to get our cards stamped to stay there. If it didn't stamp, we would have to leave. We are immigrants. We will be immigrants in Italy. There will be businesses that have a license to operate under the regulations. If we come out, quite frankly, they won't be able to run their businesses. There are people, I understand, have already returned to England. You know, when people criticise and say they left England, well, when they're leaving now, they're not going to Burma, they're coming back home, as they say. They're going back to England because they're British citizens. Some of these critics want to think of this. There is, in my view, a great deal of ignorance on who these British expats are. So if I may spend a second to tell you exactly who they are not wealthy people sitting on yachts, drinking, sipping wine in Naples Bay. They are ordinary folk like those who make the criticism. They are, for example, they work in hotels, they work in bars, they are teachers, they're interpreters, they work in international organisations, they represent companies in England, they have their own businesses. Ordinary run of Britons they are, that are out there, and there are pensioners. Now, if they say, well, they all went out there for the sun, well, you know, let me tell you very quickly a story. I have a phone call from an expat lady who says to me, Harry, can you help me? I can't get out of my house. I said, what's up? She said, I can't open the door. I said, well, you've probably got a problem with the hinges. No, she said, I can't get out because of the snow outside. This story about we all came here for the sun and so on, which is a lot of nonsense. There is, in fact, a great deal of ignorance, leave alone envy, misplaced, I would say, but a lot of ignorance about who we are and what we do out here.
Well, I think you've probably tried to at least tell us who expats are, but I just want to, very briefly, I just have time for one more question. I want you to tell me about your plans to challenge this High Court decision. I understand you do intend to do that.
Yeah, oh indeed, yes. This is only, if you like, a battle in a war, and we lost this one, as in history showed, we lost a lot of battles, but we win a war. No, we do intend to go to the next step up, we hope that we'll be allowed to take the next step up, the Supreme Court, and make our case there. And hope, of course, in the meantime, if I may spend just a second finalising on this, I would like, if I may, through you, to make this public appeal to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister wrote to me, and he said that he would, in fact, if he won the election, arrange for a government bill to give us back the vote. And they have done that. The Conservative Party have done that. They have a bill before Parliament. Well, it's not before Parliament yet. It's waiting to be discussed. That would give us, in fact, the vote. It would have eliminated all this discussion about the referendum if that had been passed. It hasn't, not yet. Therefore, I'm appealing to the Prime Minister now to act on our behalf and so, in my view, save Britain from leaving the common market with the European Union, which will be so detrimental to Britain's interests.
Mr.
I'm asking
Shindler,
the Prime Minister to do that in the House.
Mr. Shindler, thank you very much for talking to us. Harry Shindler speaking to us from Italy about that High Court judgment on expats voting in the EU